G'day there guys, Markee here, back again with another episode of r/Entitled People. Now if you're entitled and also a person, you probably don't want to watch this, but if you're not, which I guess the majority of you are, please continue watching, and I hope you have a good one. Posted by user Victory Arose Tassie, titled, Really? To all the salons, barbershops and tattoo shops, I just want to say good luck to you all when reopening. We have already had someone be untruthful. A client came in Sunday to the salon, day 2 of us being open, to get a service from a stylist, and little did anyone know she had pending results for COVID. She called Monday to tell the salon she got the results and tested positive. They shut down the salon for the day, had a cleaning crew come in, and opened back up Tuesday. The stylist is on a 14-day quarantine. Before my country shut down, I was getting my hair cut, and my stylist told me that another one of her clients worked in a nail bar. They had a call from a woman who needed to get her nails done ASAP, as she had just been tested positive and wasn't going to be allowed out for 2 weeks. Like, what? This is astounding. You're going to be at home with literally zero contact with the outside world. Why the hell does it matter what your nails look like? For the Instagram photos, of course. What else are you going to do while sick at home all day? And in regards to the main story, y'all should definitely call the police and see what legal action you can take on her for public endangerment or other things, because we need to make sure these entitled freaks don't continue to pull this crap costing y'all lives, and also I mean messing up your work like you are unable to work and to be paid because of this person's inability to go another day without getting their hair done. Really. There's nothing we can do to stop people from doing something like this. I have co-workers who have come into work knowing they have the virus, and my girlfriend says the same for the Walmart she works at. To be honest, this is probably way more commonplace than any of us think it is. I imagine there's tons of people either getting tested positive or going out in public. Posted by user GhostWolf223. Are you blind or stupid? Apparently both. Meet the cast, me, Karen, and manager. This happened last week, the 3rd month into the lockdown in my country. Had a long and overall crappy day with events that will be revealed later. I decided to go to a market to get some supplies for the upcoming shift. I had a full day shift that day, FML. And on my phone, talking to my superior, asking what they need from the store. Went into the chips section and picking up about 4 packets of chips and started to walk away, when I heard the infamous throat clearing that can come from the guardian of hell herself, Karen. Thinking to myself, I can't be this unlucky today. Turned around to a 5'2" woman around 45 years old. Conversation ensue. I say, can I help you? Yes, where is the item I don't know? I think it's 2 aisles over. How could you not know? Why does this store even hire idiots like you? I'm sorry, but I have to know. Are you blind or stupid by chance? How bloody dare you call me blind? Storming off, thinking it was the end of it. Oh, how wrong I was. She came back with the manager in tow, looking smug. She sees me on my phone, so grabs my phone and threw it on the ground. Same phone I'm using to type this out, with just the screen replaced. The manager comes up to me, and realization sets in for him, and he understands how bad the situation is at this point. I turn to the manager. Get why I called her blind? Manager, looking at me, his face turns from confusion to containing his laughter. Props to him. He kept professional when even I had a hard time keeping quiet. He says, Ma'am, this man clearly doesn't work here. Okay, then why is he in uniform? Ma'am, take a good hard look at me from head to toe and then ask again. Karen, looking at my uniform and face, turning from red to pale as printing paper. Context: my uniform is a dark blue beret, dark blue button-up, dark blue pants, and the piece of resistance, my belt that had sidearm holster with my sidearms clearly inside, a taser, handcuff holster, and spare magazine holsters, all on my belt along with my N4 rifle slung on my neck. I am a narcotics officer who literally got off a tragic case and getting snacks for my teammates. I say, seeing your reaction, literal gold. If only I could release the body cam footage. I'm going to have to give you 2 options right now. Pay me back what my phone cost, or I'm going to arrest you for harassment, theft of property, and damages to property. Karen, now realizing what she had done, turned tail and ran. Of course, I had no choice but to chase and tackle her down. She was able to get loose for that split second, and uses her chance to take a box of cereal, I crap you not, and attacked me, so I tased her and cuffed her. Called in a unit nearby, cause even after handcuffed, she still fights back, kicking, headbutting, and even when her ankles were cuffed, she tried to get away like a cartoon caterpillar. Eventually, my partner shows up and uses a boar cuff, a type of cuff that, once done properly, will force these suspects' arm and legs to be bound like natives taking a boar, hence the name, to subdue her, and it took both of us just to get her in the cruiser. Tired of this, I just told my partner to explain her rights to her, and I walked back into the store and got all the things I need, paid and left. She was a repeat offender, so this event just added to her previous charges. She is booked for court tomorrow. I'll post the results, but I can bet it's going to be guilty to all charges. Fun fact, her name is really Karen. You tased a serial killer. Did she go snap, crackle, and pop? Ha! Sorry you had to deal with a lowlife like her. Smashing your phone must have been such a pain. It was until you turned this into a hilarious strip. I will share this with my COs. They will laugh their ass off, cause I am. When you tackled her, was it one of those football hits where you just tackle the legs, or were you able to get some lift and drive her into the ground? Unzips, asking for a friend. Straight on, grab her around the waist when I charged at her. Oh, so a spearhead. Nice. Yeah, no, that was my mistake. That's why she was able to wiggle her way out of my grasp and kicked my face. The M4 gave her just enough space between me and her to give her wiggle room. That's why I asked. The whole lift up and drive into the ground definitely shocks the system. Nope, tackle and straight down. Didn't even have time to grab her before she got enough space to wiggle and clock me with her shoe. Thank God she wasn't wearing heels. Well, her consolation prize is that she's totally screwed, so that should force some blood to the nethers. Yup, not fun. Good thing she didn't kick you in the Lucky Charms. That would have really made the rainbow bright. That would have hurt, but the barrel of the rifle blocked anything middle stomach down. I love the idea that someone can't tell you apart from a store employee, especially with your rifle on your person. What store is she shopping in if an employee might just kinda have a rifle? To her credit, she might not have realized I had a rifle because I had my back to her most of the time. But how she did not see my sidearm and handcuffs really amused me. Guns are extremely rare in my country. I live in America, and I don't know if it's just me, but the first thing that I'd notice about anyone is open carry, and more so a fudging uniform with ammunition and whatnot. I forgot to mention that her argument for seeing me having a gun is because she thought that I was security. Here's the thing. Security in my country aren't allowed to carry guns unless you work for a bank. Only a baton. Update on Karen is blind. Edit, thanks for the support. You guys really renewed my faith in humanity. Crappy years in law enforcement. I know you guys would love this because the fallout was real. I knew this would be bad for her, but never in my life would I think that the fallout would be this horribly bad. Anyone that wants to publish these stories, you have my permission, but just give me a heads up so I can sub over and get my mates to view them. Thanks. The cast are me, the unfortunate short end of most sticks. Karen, her real name, who would have thought? Jack Mule lawyer, you'll find out later why he's a Jack Mule. And the awesome judge. Into the case. Picture the scene, her family, at least those who wanted to come, on one side, and the other is literally all of my superiors. From my new CO to the chief are all sitting there. I'm crapping my pants nervous. I'm still shocked by what she and her lawyer said. Straight up insanity and unbelievable. She pled not guilty to all cases brought above. New charges were brought up since her arrest. She has 7 charges compared to 3 that I charged her with. I'm crapping myself nervous right now, but still confident. That was the case for half an hour as lawyer and attorney argue, but then I was called to the stand by Jack Mule and sworn in. The following event still brings me to tears heavily. The pain was still fresh. JL says, as you know, you do have a history with violence, Officer OP. I fail to see how that would be related to this case in any way. Well, if you had no problem causing violence to a minor, do you think you would have any problem causing it to my client? I actually did anticipate the lawyer using this, but it still cuts deep. I still have scars both physically and emotionally from that night. Judge says, JL, get back on topic. I will not have you traumatizing an honorable officer of the law for something that isn't even about this case. This was when I realized the judge was the one who handled my case on the brutality case in question. She was a no-nonsense, hard-ass judge, and I respected the hell out of that. JL's like, my apologies, Your Honor, but there is no doubt for this officer about his violent history. Officer, do you mind telling us your side of the case so that we can continue with this point? I'm still in tears. I say, last year, February 18th, Operation Flashside. Not actual date or name of the operation, as it's still considered classified, but allowed to reveal it for this specific case as it was approved. This is how I knew they might use this against me. The operation's objective is to arrest 3 known drug traffic mains in the rural area outside the city with federal officers. At the last suspect's house, suspect was arrested, but his son, due to be on the 2nd floor, was able to have time to reach his father's illegal assault rifle. It was a black market Serbian AKM smuggled through Cambodia, and ran down the stairs to confront us. The child was 12 years old. I did call out for my superior for orders, but my superior just called back, if that muzzle is pointing at you or anyone else, your call. As we yelled, the kid put the rifle down. He raised it enough that the muzzle was pointing at my teammate, so I had to. JL says, so, you admit that you shot the child? Not like I had a choice. It was either him or my mate. I chose my mate. Well, this officer is known to have shot a child. If he was able to shoot a child that is only 12 years old, who's to say he didn't attack my client on purpose? I have photos from my client showing all of her wounds to show the attack. Apparently my M4 bumped her fat butt in the tussle and has bruised her, barely observable, and this jack mule was using this to say that I beat her up. I really couldn't say anything as I'm bawling my eyes out, having flashbacks to that night of the operation. The pain is still very fresh. Judge says, I don't see any wounds in those photos, only bumps. And you are aware everything was caught not only on security cam and his personal body cam, right? Yes, but it is too much of a stretch to say, enough. Now, either get something that proves otherwise or get on with your case. But no buts. I'm tired of you running around. Now do you or do you not have something else to say? No, Your Honor. Well then, Officer OP, you are excused. I'm barely able to speak due to my slobbering voice cracking though, and I say, thank you, officer. Apparently, the judge was also having a bad day before today. This just somehow got on her nerves enough to smite that lawyer. The case continued while I was outside gathering myself. This hit me hard and caused me to burst into tears outside the courtroom. About an hour later, I was called back in for the final verdict. They say, has the jury found a verdict? Yes, Your Honor. We find the defendant guilty on the charges of harassment. Both cases of destruction of property, my phone and the cereal. The cereal caught my surprise as it was like $5 cereal. Resisting arrest, both cases of assault on law enforcement personnel. But not guilty on disturbing public peace as it was in a market. This charge was pressed by the market. At this point, I think they were trying to milk her as much as they could. Results? She is sentenced to 5 years in prison with possible parole after 2 years, 100 hours of anger management. I get my employment back, but got a demotion and back to school for refreshment training starting next week. I know what you're asking. Where's the fallout? Here it is. Fallout. Apparently, her husband had been sick of her antics and divorced her once she comes out, and he is getting full custody of the kids. Husband then comes over to me, and I recognized him and his kid right off the bat. Their daughter was in the same middle school I was in. 6 years ago, she was my junior, and I'm on my final year in school. And the father was a victim on a case I worked. Drug deal gone wrong, and he was just caught in the crossfire. Case was closed, and he was in the clear. He comes up to me and apologized profusely to his wife when he recognized me too. We walked for a few minutes, then he congratulated me on the case, as does his daughter. Edit. For those who wished the health of wife of my partner, she unfortunately passed due to her injury being too severe. Her time was 1:43 this morning. Thanks for all the support. It had been an emotional morning, but still in tears, I'm fine. I do have other stories that aren't as depressing. Comment down below if you guys want those stories of suspects, at least those who aren't under investigation. Posted by user Helga Biscuit, titled, "Face masks are apparently scarier than COVID-19. I finally get to write my own encounter. This happened today. I live in a small town in Scotland and went on my weekly shop to a supermarket. Since the virus has hit this country pretty hard, I try to wear a face mask and gloves each time I go out. I mean, any of us could be a carrier with no symptoms, and there are a lot of elderly people in this village. I was waiting for the green man, and there was a mother with her child. I didn't pay attention to them at first, and it took me a second to realize the mum started to have a go at me. CM is crazy mum, and me is, well, myself. Crazy mum's like, "Excuse me?" I say, "Sorry, can I help you?" "Yes, take your bloody mask off, it's not gonna help you anyway." No I won't. Have a good day, lady." I proceeded to walk away to find another crosswalk. I hate confrontation, and crazy people make me nervous. She's like, "Do you not think at all how those masks are scaring the children? My son is terrified of you. Who knows what trauma you've caused? It's also illegal to walk around with a covered face. People need to be able to identify you." By the way, the little boy did not seem bothered whatsoever. She tried to argue more, walking almost next to me, but I cut her off. I say, "Lady, please keep your distance. Excuse me for living with someone who is in a risk group. I find it more terrifying to lose a loved one. Bet you wouldn't want that either." I crossed the road quickly to get rid of her so she can't follow with her spawn. She shouted more angry crap at me, but I hardly understood nor heard her anymore. I should have been wittier, but that's all I could muster in a shock that someone would get so angry because of protective gear. Good riddance. What would you have said to the lady? Edit, I also wear the mask because I have allergies, and with all the pollen going around, it's super inconvenient and uncomfortable to try not to sneeze and cough all the time. Posted by user Sergeant Spuddy Boy, titled, "Entitled parent tries to steal my school bag, doesn't know I have two mates that do self-defense traveling with me." Characters are me, entitled parent, mate 1, 2, 3, bystander, train driver, IK. Didn't really do much, just listened to his mum. I go to a reasonably expensive school in my home city, not named for obvious reasons, and the uniform is pretty distinctive. To get to it, I usually get a train for around 20 minutes, and from plus 15 minutes walk to the train station. For much of this, I am accompanied by a few mates who live in the same general area. Looking at us, you wouldn't think much. 3 to 4 relatively skinny teenagers who go to a good school. However, out of the usual squad, 2 of them do self-defense and other martial arts. Both have done it for over 6 years and are relatively high up in skill levels. This was a couple of years back, so some of the details may be a bit rusty. Now on to the story. My mates and I were waiting at the train station after school one day and were talking about the usual things that we talk about. Video games, school, and the like. We're the nerds of the school. We see our train rock up to the platform and we get on. For once, there are more than 10 empty seats, and my mates sit down in a set of 4 while I stand. We put our bags outside of the way of the walkway and continue our conversation. A few minutes pass, and then a mother with a small kid, no more than 5 to 6 years old, comes onto the train. By this point, most of the other seats were filled up, so my mates offered to move for them, and she accepted. We picked up our bags and moved down the carriage a bit to an open area where we could stand without disrupting anyone. 2 stations later, the mother gets up, leaving her kids still sitting down, and starts asking us questions about our school. "How is your school? I hear that it is very good and gets consistently high results." M1 says, "It is very nice, thank you. We really enjoy going there." This general theme of questions goes on for a few minutes, and she asks us about the teachers, the administration, how we feel about going there, etc. After a few more questions, she turns to a kid and says, "You will go to school here. It sounds like a great place." She turns back to myself and my mates and says, "Would one of you please mind giving your uniform to my son? It looks expensive and I think you would be able to afford it better than I will." We all deny her and make to leave the carriage. She sees us leaving and reaches down to try and take my bag and run. She does so, but doesn't get far, as mate 1 and 2 both run after her and tackle her to the ground. While this is happening, mate 3 goes up to the emergency intercom and tells the train driver to call the police at the next station. When the police arrive at the next station, the entitled parent is taken into custody after the statements from myself, my 3 friends, and a random person who saw it all happen. All of this, coupled with the security tapes from the carriage, meant that she was found guilty of attempted robbery. Her total sentence was 14 months, coupled with a few fines costing over $2,000. One of these was for the fact that the train had to wait for a while for the police to arrive. She had to pay for the cost of this effect. Posted by user Depression Suller Pizza, titled, "All of you need to learn my language when I give birth to my kid. Also give me a free apartment. Long sorry." So I am an educator working in foster care for female migrants who are victims, for example sex trafficking, forced prostitution, forced marriage, etc. Our age ranges is 17 to 31, and I live with these women in an apartment. 2 of them are pregnant. The woman I am talking about lives over 1 year in Germany. And I swear to God, she cannot speak 1 sentence in German. On top of that, she can also not speak any English. I just started this job in February, so I asked my boss about it, and she told me that this woman flat out refuses to learn German or English. I taught German and English to refugees before in other jobs, so, especially with school being closed due to Corona, I taught English, German, and maths several times a week on top of my normal work. She never participated once. She's 39 weeks pregnant, and I had to bring her to the hospital. Not only did she complain the whole 20 minutes in French, I understood her, but my French is not good enough that I could answer properly, that I did not drive her in my car. She also made a fuss in the hospital. I swear to God, I have never apologized for someone's behavior this many times in 3 hours. It was planned that I only bring her to the hospital, and a French doctor would then plan the birth with her. The French doctor did not exist, though. So the hospital literally ripped their arms and legs out to find anyone who speaks proper French. One nurse of a different area came over. Her French was good enough to explain the basics, but we have to redo this appointment with a translator because her French skills were not good enough to 100% legally plan a birth. Yes, it was bad that the French doctor was not there, but what annoys me, she literally expects everyone to learn French to be able to talk to her, but refuses to learn German or English. I have a lot of patience and work with over 200 migrants at this point, also professionally teaching German classes for non-native speakers. She is the only person I have ever witnessed who literally refuses to learn 2 sentences. She cannot even buy food in stores in German. She is the definition of one entitled parent for me. She also demanded the government/my boss pay her a free 3-room apartment plus paid food because apparently her 15 meters squared room plus free money for food and a shared kitchen/living room etc. is not enough for her and her baby. I also want to highlight, she is one of the cases where we are 80% sure that she made her story up. She told us a story about how she came here, what victim she is. 5 women before already told our boss. Same names, same scenarios. We probably think that there are some people who will tell these women those stories and tell them, say this and this so you have better chances to stay in Germany. I would never bash a traumatized woman for needing time to adjust, but she does not even know how to say I am good, I am tired, I am doing fine in German when I ask her how she is doing. How does she want to live here on her own in her own government-paid apartment? I am actually feeling sorry for how this child will grow up with such an entitled mother. Edit. Even if she learned German in this whole year, she would need a French doctor to plan her birth. I am not saying she is entitled for wanting a French doctor, I am saying that she is entitled for thinking anyone has to adjust to her without her showing the effort of learning how to greet the hospital staff in German. Edit 2. She is from Gambia and not France. Sorry. Edit 3. Again, she made her story up. Her story is not possible. She is one of the clients where the chances are high she came here by choice and lied about her story. I would never bash a traumatized woman, however, trauma victims in this job field usually show fear of getting deported and getting sent back, and try to integrate at least a little because they are afraid to get deported. She does not show any fear and openly said to a translator multiple times that she does not care to learn German, and if anyone wants to speak to her, they need to learn French themselves or talk to her translator. This has nothing to do with her being a trauma victim. Also, thanks for the awards. G'day there guys, Outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, Markee 2. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!